Imagine a world steeped in ancient magic, where forgotten sorcerers are reawakened, kings overthrown by, well, unseen forces, and the fate of entire empires rests on betrayal and just brutal warfare. We're about to plunge into a narrative so rich with intrigue, dark sorcery, raw adventure. You'll feel like you stepped right into the heart of a Hyborian epic. Today we're taking a deep dive into this extraordinary collection of insights from a really sprawling narrative. It reveals the epic tale of one of fantasy's most legendary figures, Conan the Sumerian, king of Aquilonia, and his desperate fight against this ancient resurrected evil. We'll unpack the intricate web of political conspiracy, the terrifying power of forbidden magic, and those surprising turns of destiny that test the very nature of a warrior king. Our mission today for you is to distill the key events, really try to understand the motivations of all the players involved, and explore the astonishing elements of magic and warfare that define this dramatic struggle for a kingdom. You'll gain, hopefully, a comprehensive understanding of how ancient powers can reshape a modern world, and what it truly means to be a leader when, all seems lost.
And what a journey it is. We begin right at the precipice of this unfolding nightmare. The resurrection of someone who, should have stayed buried for millennia. Lost to time.
Right. #Dagea King's Unmaking and an Empire's Rebirth. The opening scene just throws us straight into the deep end, doesn't it?
Yep.
We get introduced to this man, Orestes, in a fur-trimmed robe, performing this incredibly chilling ritual. He cups his palm, and the description is visceral. He holds a ball of living fire. You can almost feel the heat, sense the raw energy. It's not just light. It's like a contained inferno.
Exactly. And the impact on the other three conspirators there, Valerius, Tarascus, Amalric, it's immediate. You can tell they're terrified. They recoil, sharp breaths. The guy at the head of the sarcophagus whispers with awe and terror, the heart of Ahriman.
That's the name itself.
Right. It's clear this isn't just some rare gem. It's something immense, terrifying, primordial power almost. Invoking Ahriman suggests, deep cosmic darkness.
And Orestes, gripping this blazing gem, starts muttering an incantation. Not just any spell, it's described as old when Atlantis sank. I mean, just wrap your head around that.
It's mind-boggling. Primordial stuff, beyond history, beyond myth almost.
The glare from the gem is so dazzling, it actually hides what they're trying to see. And then, this splintering crash, the sarcophagus lid bursts outwards like something inside forced it open.
A pretty dramatic entrance. And what they see next is, equally shocking, the occupant is just this huddled, withered, wizened shape, dried brown limbs like dead wood, but it immediately starts changing.
One of the conspirators even scoffs, right? Bring that thing back, it'll crumble.
Yeah, but Orestes, drenched in sweat, eyes dilated, he presses the jewel onto the mummy's breast without touching it. It's purely magical energy transfer.
And they watch, just morbidly fascinated, as the mummy transforms right there. The withered form gives way, rebuilds itself, becoming this tall, lusty man, naked white of skin and dark of hair and beard. This is Zaltitan.
But he's not quite there yet. He lies motionless, eyes open, but totally blank and unknowing as a newborn babe's.
Yeah.
So Orestes has to step in like this twisted hypnotist, driving home suggestions, repeating, "You are Zaltitan of Python in Acheron. You are not dead. You live." It's almost this violent act of mental reconstruction.
It really is this slow, kind of agonizing but terrifying awakening. Zaltitan's first whisper, "I was Zaltitan. I am dead." It's this echo of his past state.
But Orestes just keeps hammering away, and gradually intelligence grows in Zaltitan's eyes. They become deep and strange and luminous, like long-sunken witchlights surfacing.
What's fascinating here, and this is key for our deep dive, is the sheer audacity of this magic.
Right.
Bringing someone back after millennia.
Right. Most magic we see in the Hyborian Age is, elementals, demon pacts, local stuff. But the heart of Ahriman, restoring not just a body, but consciousness, personality, memory after 3,000 years.
That's a whole different level.
It suggests control over life essence, maybe even souls, on a scale nobody's seen in this age. It raises the question, what kind of power is this, and what happens when it falls into ambitious hands? It's not just necromancy, it's almost godlike power.
Totally. And once he's fully awake, Zaltitan starts recalling his past, fragmented, dreamlike. He identifies himself, Zaltitan, High Priest of Set in Python, which was in Acheron.
He remembers the heart being stolen, Acheron falling, his flight to Stygia, where he died from poison, an ancient life of power, and ultimately defeat.
It's distant for him, though. He's been across misty voids and gulfs. You feel his disorientation.
And then Orestes drops the bombshell. It's 3,000 years after the fall of Acheron, specifically the waning of the Year of the Lion.
3 millennia.
Yeah.
Just gone in a blink for Zaltitan. Imagine waking up to that. Everything you knew vanished.
His reaction is profound. 3,000 years. Just the weight of it. Orestes tries to orient him, explains how barbarian tribes overthrew Acheron, set up new kingdoms, Aquilonia, Numidia, Argos rising from the ruins.
And Zoltaton looks at a map of this new world, and his reaction is striking. The very outlines of the land are changed. It is like some familiar thing seen in a dream, fantastically distorted.
The familiar is now alien. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it shows that even after millennia, a person, or maybe a kind of power, a worldview can come back and just disrupt everything.
It challenges our idea of history being, finished.
Exactly. If power can lie dormant like that, the past isn't just history. It's like a dormant volcano, ready to erupt. Suggests a very cyclical nature to things, maybe. The past is never really gone.
So Zoltaton, now aware, absorbing this baffling new reality, immediately asks the logical question. Why revive him? Why didn't Orestes just use the heart himself?
And Orestes' answer is crucial. It sets up this whole hierarchy of magical knowledge because no man today knows the secrets of the heart. I merely used it to bring you back to life. It is the use of your knowledge we seek.
So Orestes has the key, but not the instruction manual.
Cunning. Very pragmatic, and even Zoltaton admits his limits. My necromantic knowledge is greater than the sum of all the knowledge of other men, yet I do not know the full power of the jewel.
Wow. Even he doesn't fully grasp it.
Suggests the heart has depths even he hasn't plumbed, making it even more dangerous, right? A real wild card.
Definitely. Orestes then introduces his co-conspirators. Amoric, Baron of Tor and Numidia, powerful guy, and Tarascus, younger brother of the Numidian king.
Their goal is chillingly simple: seize Aquilonia.
And the plan is laid out pretty ruthlessly. 2 prongs. 1, Valerius, Amalek's puppet, becomes king of Aquilonia. 2, Tarascus takes the throne of Numidia.
And they want to avoid civil war in Numidia, so they prefer natural deaths, like a convenient plague for King Nimed and his sons. Foreshadowing much.
Yeah, dark foreshadowing. And this is where Conan finally enters the picture. The current king of Aquilonia.
Described with those volcanic blue eyes, that dark, scarred, almost sinister face. A fighting man through and through.
And Zoltaton's reaction is immediate recognition. He identifies Conan as a Sumerian, notes he fought his ancestors of old, says not even the kings of Acheron could conquer them.
This sets up more than just rivalry. It's this ancient, almost primal conflict. Conan's lineage is as old and resilient as Acheron itself, apparently, a clash between ancient sorceress power and this indomitable barbarian spirit.
So let's just break this down for you. We have ancient magic, a resurrected sorcerer from a lost empire, a hugely powerful, mysterious artifact, and this cabal of ambitious nobles.
Driven by greed and powerless.
Their targets, 2 kings. One is Conan, a formidable barbarian king whose ancestors fought Zoltaton's kind. The stakes are enormous. Not just thrones, but maybe the whole balance of power in the Hyborian Age.
It's a grand, intricate setup. Raw power versus arcane forces versus political maneuvering. What a way to start. Hashtag shadow over Aquilonia.
The narrative then shifts quickly, doesn't it? Setting the stage for the conspirators' first big, devastating move. It's now the year of the dragon, already a time of war, pestilence, unrest, and then bam, the Black Plague hits Belverus. Spreads like a shadow.
And it hits everyone. Merchant, serf, knight, doesn't matter. The descriptions are horrifying victims turning purple and then black. The stench of putrefaction even before death.
The physicians, the leeches, they're totally helpless.
Naturally, people panic. They cry out to their god Mitra, think it's punishment for King Nimed's sins, start muttering against him.
But Conan, ever the pragmatist, dismisses this. He grunts, if the plague struck all who sinned, then by Crom there wouldn't be enough left to count the living. Classic Conan logic.
He challenges that idea of divine retribution, looks for something more tangible.
And this is where his deeper understanding, his knowledge of the world's dark corners, really shows. It gets really interesting for you, the listener. He declares, with this insight you might not expect, the Black Plague's no common pestilence. It lurks in Stygian tombs and is called forth into being only by wizards.
Wow.
He even recounts his own experience invading Stygia. Half-Prince Almuric's army wiped out by a similar plague, rolling like a wind out of the south. He was the only survivor from that outbreak.
So he immediately connects it to dark sorcery, even without knowing Zoltaton's name yet. It hints at this underlying magical system operating beyond normal understanding.
And just as planned by the conspirators, the plague does its job. Horrifyingly efficient.
King Nimed and all 3 sons die in one night. Clears the path for Tarascus in Numidia. No civil war, just plague. Chillingly effective magical warfare. A weapon of mass destruction from a long-dead hand.
Conan, meanwhile, he feels something's off, a grisly premonition about Nimed's death, the sudden stop of the plague. He's in his tent, senses a stealthy step inside, even with guards right outside.
His instincts are screaming danger, but he can't see it. That warrior's sixth sense.
And then the attack comes. A stranger from Stygia. Zoltatin in disguise, as we know, materializes.
No sword fight. Zoltatin just throws a glistening sphere.
The description is violent. Sharp explosion, blinding flame, Conan collapses, senseless. Zoltatin just observes, cold, calculating, declares him, but senseless.
It really shows the overwhelming power of this magic. Incapacitates Conan without even touching him physically, a shocking display of magical dominance.
Conan's capture is just as disorienting. Lifted into Zoltatin's chariot, a long ride like a mindless automaton in deep lethargy. Sights, sounds, meaningless. Trapped in a nightmare, basically.
Vaguely aware, but his mind's just blasted. Suppressed by magic, a king reduced to, well, cargo.
He wakes up abruptly, suddenly knows about the battle, his situation, finds himself in this luxurious room, but no windows, no doors. A cage.
And chained, with chains not even he could break. Meticulously planned helplessness, stripped of his usual means of escape.
Then the confrontation. Zoltatin appears, no disguise now, looking like the ancient sorcerer he is, strongly chiseled features of classical beauty.
Conan, defiant even in chains, demands, "What the devil did you do to me?"
Zoltatin's reply, cold, direct. I blasted your consciousness, call it black magic if you will. Just pure assertion of dominance, something Conan's never faced before.
But even chained, magically suppressed, Conan's mind is sharp. He figures out why they spared him.
Right. Amalaric wants him as a check on Valerius, their puppet king, in case Valerius gets too ambitious.
Shows Conan's grasp of politics. Even now, he understands the human element, the distrust even among conspirators. Insightful.
And Zoltatin, enjoying his success, taunts Conan. Paints this vivid picture of Aquilonia falling. Mobs mad with fear, giant shadows rush on Aquilonia, vultures in the sky, utter ruin.
But Conan, still defiant, dismisses it. Trusts his generals, Prospero, Trocero, to rally the kingdom. Has faith in his people.
Still, he can't shake this deep unease. He shivers, sensing something incredibly ancient, incredibly evil about Zoltatin.
It's not just a sorcerer. It's this ancient malevolence, a timeless threat, something primal.
So, stepping back, what does this mean for you, the listener? Conan, the epitome of physical power, direct action, completely outmatched by magic.
It's a stark lesson, isn't it? Brute force has limits against unseen powers. True resilience isn't just strength, but adaptability, understanding the full spectrum of threats.
His capture shows how effective the conspirators' plan was. They removed the biggest obstacle using ancient sorcery and cunning manipulation. A reminder that the biggest threats aren't always visible. Power takes many forms. Hashtag the path of shadows and prophecies. Even chained up helpless in that impenetrable room, Conan's spirit is just, unyielding. He's grinding his teeth in red rage, a wild animal trapped.
But then he hears it, a stealthy step outside, the clink of tumblers, a key turning. That tiny sound sparks hope, right? Rekindles that fire.
And it ignites fast. This indistinct figure outside gives him keys. Conan tries them, dubious, expecting a trick.
But one fits. He's galvanized, quickly loosens the shackles, stands up, exulting fiercely in his comparative freedom, then grabs the wrist of the figure.
Who bravely lifts her face. It's a woman, Zenobia later revealed as Countess Albiona. Her terror at their situation underscores the risk she's taken. Incredible courage and loyalty.
Absolutely. And this moment forges this tense bond. She gives him a forthright poniard, a warrior's weapon, not some flimsy thing.
The feel of it cheers him, gives him confidence. His muscles swell, ready for murderous blows. His first real weapon since capture, he's getting his fangs back.
And their exchange about trust is pivotal. Conan, shaped by a harsh life, says, "I've lived this long only because I've trusted no one too far, man or woman."
Brutal honesty.
But he gives her a stark choice. "Now, if you play me false, you won't live to enjoy the jest," her reply. "Cut me down without mercy if I play you false." That establishes this desperate earned trust. Essential.
As they sneak through the palace, they run into this grotesque, hairy swag-belly beast, a man-eater guardian.
Conan, still wounded, recovering from the magic attack, takes it down. One precise dagger thrust to the heart. Primal combat instincts. Still deadly, even weakened.
Zenobia then reveals, strange things are afoot. Tarascus, the Nemedian king-to-be, has secretly entered the palace, dusty from travel.
Suggests the Nemedians are playing their own games, maybe? Layers of intrigue beyond just Zoltatin.
And there's this moment of dramatic irony. Conan overhears Tarascus ordering a ruffian to throw the heart of Ahriman into the sea. He's right there, near the artifact he'll later desperately seek, and has no idea yet.
So close. And finally, the escape. It's legendary. Tearing gold bars from their sockets with one tremendous wrench. Superhuman strength.
Then down the wall, agile despite his size, melting like a shadow into the maze of towering rose bushes, Physical prowess, sheer determination, the king, now fugitive, back to his barbarian roots. Master of escape.
Now hunted, displaced, Conan knows he needs speed. Chooses an open chase over hiding. He knows Zaltitan's uncanny ally, that magical sense, will find him anyway, not one to skulk.
As he flees, he meets Salada, an old woman in peasant garb, with a great gray wolf, her steady gaze, deep voice. She's clearly more than she appears. Aura of ancient wisdom.
And she proves it quickly, magically takes down a black messenger raven that was guiding soldiers right to him.
Conan recognizes her power immediately. A magician.
Zalata then delivers grim news, mixed with prophecy. The heart is gone from your kingdom. She says he won't regain the throne unless you find the heart of your kingdom. Deeply symbolic, unsettling.
To drive it home, she does a scrying ritual. Throws something in the fire, green smoke billows. Shows him a vision of Tarantia.
And it's horrifying, his loyal general Prospero leaving the city, then Valerius clad in the royal lions of Aquilonia, the crown of Aquilonia shone on his square-cut black mane.
Seeing Valerius, the usurper, putting the crown on in his own hall, Numidian officials strutting around, his own people wearing Valerius's emblem, betrayal on such a deep level.
Conan explodes. Crom! Pure Sumerian fury, fists clenched like hammers, veins nodding. He gets the full weight of it. His people forfeited the freedom he won for them. Raw, visceral anger.
Zalata also shows him these weird, alien, and seemingly irrelevant images. Black walls, hideous gods, Zamorian thieves in a Stygian temple.
Cryptic stuff, foreshadowing future events, hinting at a much larger web of ancient evils connected to this, not just the Numidians.
But Zalata explains her limits. She's an oracle, but the gods seal her lips lest I speak too much.
Yes.
She just repeats the core message. You must find the heart of your kingdom. I can say no more.
This segment is vital for you, the listener. It sets the core challenge. A king, stripped of power, facing political enemies and ancient magic. Heart of your kingdom isn't just a metaphor, it's the central mystery. Puts Conan on this deeply personal, magical quest, reshapes what being a king even means for him. Hashtag the Seawolf's return.
As Conan makes his way through Aquilonia, a fugitive in his own land, the devastation is just heartbreaking. He sees this vast swath of desolation cut by the Numidians.
Farms, villas, only embers and ashes. Shows the brutal impact of Valerius's rule, the suffering of the people. It's not just political, it's an economic and humanitarian disaster. He's dismantling everything Conan built.
Conan seeks refuge with Servius, a loyal patrician he can trust. Servius confirms how bad it is. Numidian occupation, Valerius just letting them run wild.
Plundering merchants, outraging women, selling people into slavery. The social fabric is just ripping apart.
Servius also confirms the rumors of Conan's death are crippling morale. Men say you died accursed. Men say this veiled stranger cast a spell upon you. That explains why people aren't rising up. They think their king is cursed or gone, powerless against this unseen magic.
Despite all this, the ruin, the fear, Conan's elemental fire of the primitive just burns brighter. He prioritizes honor over strategy.
He declares, I'm going to Tarantia after Albiona tonight. I've failed all my other loyal subjects, it seems. If they take her head, they can have mine too. That's key, Conan, right? A king, even without a throne, is loyal to those who stood by him. Duty above all.
So he goes in, disguised as a headsman, black hood, heavy cleaver, bold, reckless. That chilling exchange with the watchman, boasting about lopping off the fairest head, adds dark humor, tension.
He takes out the guards watching Albiona with that butcher's tool. Brutal efficiency. Then gets help from unexpected allies, these black figures, followers of Azura. Suggests other hidden forces are working against the darkness too.
He's led to a safe chamber, meets Hadrathas, priest of Azura. Hadrathas explains his secret intervention, and then drops the bombshell that connects everything for Conan.
He tells Conan Zaltitan died 3,000 years ago, yet walks the earth today.
Conan's skepticism is real. Acheron has been a myth for more centuries than I can remember. It's a reality-shattering claim, right? Challenges everything he knows about history.
But Hadrathas has proof. An ancient coin from Acheron itself, with Zaltitan's face on it, identical to the man Conan fought.
That's when Conan feels it. A prickling of his scalp, an icy contraction of his flesh. The impossible is real. That strange sense of ancient familiarity he felt, now explained. History isn't dead.
Hadrathas then details Zaltitan's magic. Explains the control over elementals of the earth. That's what shook down the cliffs at Valkia. Confirms Zaltitan sent the creature of darkness into his tent, the magical attack.
And reveals the source of it all. The heart of Ahriman. Explains its history stolen when Acheron fell, hidden for millennia in a haunted cavern. Its origin, mysterious. Veritable heart of a god, or maybe a star that fell from the skies. A nexus of cosmic power.
This is that crucial aha moment for you, the listener. Salada's cryptic heart of your kingdom is now explicitly linked to the heart of Ahriman.
The true nature of the enemy, the path to reclaiming the kingdom. It's all revealed. Ancient magic, geopolitical stakes, all intertwined.
Adrathus convinces Conan the heart holds the destiny of Aquilonia. Conan, echoing Salada, accepts his new quest. Seek for this jewel, he calls it, a quest in a nightmare.
And he refuses help. This is a task for a fighting man. I go alone. Classic Conan self-reliance. Plans to leave Albiona safe in Poitin, then head to Cordova and the sea, reverting to his pirate roots to hunt this ancient power.
Meanwhile, news of Conan's escape, his survival, spreads like wildfire. The Count Thespius dies, confirming Conan lives, to Valerius.
Valerius, furious, desperate, orders Conan and Albiona killed, sends Khitan assassins after them.
But Conan reaches Poitin. Count Trocero and his knights, initially wary because the rumors recognize him, explode in a roar of wonder and joy. Fiercely loyal, ready to fight, shows hope isn't lost for Aquilonia, a powerful moment for Conan.
Conan, though, chooses not to travel as king. He embraces his past. Wandering mercenary, Conan of the Barashan pirates, Amra of the Black Corsairs, acknowledges his complex, brutal history, knows he has enemies and allies from those lives. That past gives him options.
In Masacha, Argos, he finds Publio, a merchant rich from their past dealings. Conan reminds him bluntly, "This fine mansion was built on my sweat and blood."
Publio's fear, the mention of Black Corsairs being hand in glove with every buccaneer, paints this vivid picture of Conan's ruthless sea raider past. It's a living part of him.
And then fate intervenes. While dining, Conan spots a black hand mark on a man, Thuthothemes, the Stygian priest. Similar to the mark from Zoltatun's attack attempt, he realizes instantly the heart. By Crom, he was carrying it.
But by cruel irony, Thuthothemes has just had it stolen from him by Tarascus's ruffian, who was ordered to throw it in the sea, trying to cut Zoltatun's power source.
The chase is on. Conan finds the ruffians taking a ship from Cordova, sees the long, low, black shape, the Stygian galley with the heart receding into the darkness. Helplessness turns to pure fury.
No time for formalities. He attacks Publio's men, commandeers a trading ship, recognizes 30 of the blacks among the oarsmen as his old crew.
When they recognize him as Amra, their legendary pirate king, they erupt. Yell of approbation, free themselves, beat their heads in ecstasy of hero worship, and almost religious reunion.
This is a huge transformation. The trading ship becomes a war galley. Swords, helmets, spears, bows. Conan declares, shedding kingship for piracy. King of Aquilonia he might no longer be, king of the blue ocean he was still.
Powerful reassertion of his core identity. Finds power not in crowns, but raw freedom and strength. Highlights his adaptability. When one path's blocked, he uses another part of himself.
This whole segment really showcases Conan's resourcefulness, doesn't it? Shedding kingship, embracing his pirate past. It's essential for this mission. Reveals the complex history of the world, how past identities shape the present. He's not just a king, he's Amra, the buccaneer, the barbarian. All facets are crucial. Sometimes to reclaim what you lost, you have to embrace who you really are. #tag Stygian secrets and a kingdom's fate.
So the heart of Ahriman is on that Stygian galley, heading for the seafloor, or so Tarascus hopes. Conan, now fully Amra, sets sail with his freed crew. The Venturer, now a warship, heads south. To Kemi, Stygia's great port on the River Styx.
And the description of Stygia itself is just foreboding. Great black walls and towers, this grim massiveness about the architecture, overpowering, oppressive, reflects the dark, ancient nature of the place and its serpent god.
The Stygians themselves. Ancient race. Dark, inscrutable people, powerful and merciless. Their capital is Luxor, ruled by the infamous Thoth-Amon, master of all priests of Set.
But here in Kemi, there's internal strife. Thuthothemes, the guy with the black hand mark Conan saw, was apparently opposing Thoth-Amon. Hints at cracks even within the dark priesthood. Potential weakness.
Conan, defiant as ever, navigates Kemi's dark streets, looking for Thuthothemes in the Temple of Set. And he encounters this chilling aspect of their culture. A sacred son of Set, a massive hungry serpent allowed to roam the streets.
When it chooses a victim, the Stygians just passively wait. Absolute submission or maybe paralyzing fear of their god.
But Conan, he doesn't wait, strikes instantly, splits the sacred serpent's head with his knife, blatant blasphemy.
The Stygians react with predictable fury. Blasphemer! He has slain the sacred son of Set. Slay him! Now he's hunted by an enraged mob. Confirms his defiance of their dark ways. He's not just a fugitive now, he's a blasphemer against their god.
Pursued by the mob, Conan finds a heavy bronze door in an alley, escapes into a great chamber within the temple itself, deeper into the darkness.
Inside, he encounters masked figures, priests, quickly gets a disguise. kills a Stygian, possibly Thutmose again, despite earlier reports. It's a bit confusing there in a quick, brutal fight. Learns more about the temple layout.
But then finds something deeply unsettling. A hidden chamber. Ebony couch, carven mummy case. The carving looks startlingly like the girl, Akivasha, on the couch. Conan reads the hieroglyphs. Akivasha, another layer of ancient undead evil, a separate threat.
And as he explores, he overhears this hollow and ghostly voice. And so the word came southward, werewolf and vampire knew. It's Thutmose, apparently not quite dead, or perhaps the spectral echo, speaking to these masked, mummified figures, ancient royalty, wizards sleeping behind their masks.
Thutmose is trying to learn the heart's secrets from them. Shows the Stygian priesthood itself is after the heart's power, maybe for their own internal struggles against Thoth-Amon, more conflicting ambition.
Meanwhile, back in Aquilonia, that Khitan mercenary who served Valerius tracks Conan down. He owes Conan a debt because his assassin brothers are dead, and he reveals Valerius's true, insidious plan.
This is a huge shift in understanding the conflict, isn't it? Valerius isn't just Amalric's puppet. He's driven by defeated pride, a nihilistic desire for total ruin.
He intends to ruin the country so utterly that not even Amalric's wealth could ever rebuild it. He hates Amalric, wants Aquilonia ruined, Numidia in civil war. His motive isn't just power, it's bitter, destructive spite.
He's deliberately levying ruinous taxes, selling his own people into slavery, fostering revolt, knowing Amalric will discard him eventually. He's a self-destructing king consuming his own kingdom.
And Amalric. He protests the excesses, but doesn't get the depth of Valerius's nihilism. Still focused on his delusion of restoring Acheron with Zoltaton's help, blind to the true nature of his pawn.
At the same time, news of Conan's survival is spreading. Pallantides confirms the illness at Valkia, the stand-in. Rumors of the curse are dispelled. People believe Conan lives. Armies are rallying Gundermen, Bolsonians. Hope rekindled.
Amalric and Valerius' scouts sent after Conan, they just disappear. Had a way of riding out and never returning. Conan's ferocity in the wilds is legendary. He's carving a path of vengeance.
This Khitan's revelation really changes things for you, the listener. Valerius isn't just weak, he's this force of destruction. Adds deep human complexity. Shows the hidden betrayals. The seeds of their own downfall were sown right from the start.
As Conan gathers strength, inspiring rebellion, Amalric and Tarascus plan their final trap, the Shirky Valley. River flooded on one side, hills on the other. Zoltaton promises rain to flood the river, create an inescapable grave.
Zoltaton's full of hubris, believes his magic will crush Conan finally like a lizard under the heel, convinces Amalric to attack at dawn, totally dismissing Conan's tactical skill and sheer will.
But then, the unexpected twist. Hadrathus, the priest of Isura, appears on the king's altar, confronts Zoltaton directly.
Reveals he was the one who stopped the river flooding earlier, and he controls the dense fog descending on the battle, not Zoltaton. Declares, I, with my magic, which is greater than your magic. Direct counter-sorcery. Divine intervention challenging Zoltaton's power.
And amidst the fog, Valerius's nihilism leads to his end. Thinking he's flanking Conan, he's led astray by the traitor Tiberius, lured by Conan's drum.
Pandrathus lifts the fog, reveals Valerius's forces trapped in a gorge, exposed. The Aquilonians, led by Conan's banner, crush them. Valerius dies, his golden serpent banner trampled. A fitting end for a self-destructive traitor.
The tide turns instantly. Zoltaton's magic signal, a blinding light, just confuses Amalric and Tarascus. They think it's for the Aquilonians. Chaos.
The Aquilonian knights, inspired, charge like a hurricane, routing the Numidians. Amalric dies trying to rally them, charging right at Conan himself.
Conan is back. Black armor, royal lion on his surcoat, golden lion banner flying beside Portain's scarlet leopard. A magnificent, triumphant return.
The Numidian invasion is broken, their conspiracy shattered. The text says the hour of the dragon had passed. The immediate threat is over.
Tarascus, defeated but defiant, doesn't flee, rages through the battle, seeking a final showdown with Conan. Signifies the absolute end of their ambition. A complete resolution, for now.
So looking back at this epic struggle, what's the takeaway for you? This final battle is this convergence of everything. Ancient magic, political schemes, Conan's raw warrior power.
Hadrathus's unexpected intervention, Valerius's self-destruction. They seal the Numidians' fate. Shows even the most powerful magic can be countered, and personal vendettas can unravel grand plans.
Conan's journey, king to prisoner, fugitive to pirate, back to conqueror, showcases his incredible will, adaptability, and the enduring power of that fundamental strength against complex, unseen forces. #tag outro.
Yeah.
What an extraordinary journey we've just taken, huh? From Zoltatan's chilling resurrection, fueled by the heart of Auerman's ancient magic,
To the intricate web of political betrayals, that terrifying magical plague.
we saw Conan stripped of everything, reclaiming his primal Sea Raider nature, and finally returning to lead his people against just overwhelming odds. This deep dive really shows how destiny, prophecy, and sheer indomitable will can reshape power, reshape history itself.
And you've seen how complex things get when ancient powers collide with mortal ambition, how forces you unleash can turn on you, that feeling of information overload you sometimes get with these rich narratives.
Yeah.
You can navigate it by identifying the key players, understanding their motivations, the hidden ones too, and seeing the underlying forces, magical, political, personal, each piece, the gem's origin, the hidden betrayals, it all layers together.
Right. It makes sense in the end. This whole deep dive, though, it kind of raises a bigger provocative question for you, doesn't it? If knowledge and power, like that heart of Armin, can just endure for millennia, be rediscovered, wielded again, what does that say about progress or stagnation?
And how much of our own history legends, forgotten knowledge, maybe even ancient evils might just be waiting, dormant in tombs, old texts, ready to be reawakened and, well, reshape our present.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
A chilling thought, maybe, to end on.